Part 1. My son only wanted to use my money to pay for his own private family vacation audio story. My son's text arrived at 11:02 p.m. 2 nights before the family trip I had planned, funded, and dreamed about for 3 years. He wrote, "You won't be joining us. My wife prefers to keep it only her family. You've already done your part by paying." I sat at the kitchen table, reading glasses balanced on the edge of my nose, the refrigerator humming in the otherwise silent house. Moments earlier, I had slipped travel-sized bottles of sunscreen into zippered bags I had labeled by hand, one for each grandchild. Tape still clung to my fingertips from wrapping souvenir pouches decorated with Aloha and Grandma Loves You. Another buzz followed. "Don't take it the wrong way, Mom. It's not personal, it's just simpler this way." I didn't answer. I watched the screen fade, then set the phone face down. No call, no thanks, no attempt at kindness. The woman who raised him was now, by his words, not part of her family. I had seen it coming. Tanya, my daughter-in-law, corrected me in front of the kids, rolled her eyes at stories of the honeymoon James and I spent in Hawaii, and hosted holidays at her mother's house without telling me until the last minute. Worst was how she glanced past me the way a server ignores a table once the bill is paid. Still, I never believed Nathan would join in. He once wrote Mother's Day notes that made me cry and sent pink tulips every March even after moving away. In 2nd grade, he drew a picture of me wearing a cape with the caption, "My mom saves the day." That heroine no longer appeared in his story. Beside me sat the duffel I had packed 2 sundresses I hadn't worn in years, a photo of my late husband, and a small box of matches for the lavender candle I meant to light in his memory. I had pictured us on the sand, at sunset, my grandson asking, "Did Grandpa love the beach too?" I would have said he loved it more because he shared it with me. That moment would never happen. I was no longer invited. Yet I had paid for the beachfront villa, booked the flights, arranged airport transfers, luau seats, snorkeling lessons, and breakfast baskets. I spent hours ensuring soft beds for the kids and flat walkways for Tanya's mother. Now I was a line item, crossed out the ATM that funded the fun, and vanished. Midnight neared. I left the lights off, letting the faint under-cabinet glow cast long shadows across the spotless counters. The feeling that settled over me was shame, not anger. Shame that hope had made me look naive. I considered calling, even lifted the phone, but what would I say? "That hurts." He knew. "You've changed. Obviously. Please let me come." I would not beg. I moved to the den and opened my old laptop. Inside the folder marked Hawaii Travel Fund glowed the total I had built since retiring $21,763.84. It began with $10 bills in envelopes, then money from selling old furniture, then online tutoring sessions that left my eyes burning. Every dollar fed this trip. Every booking charged to one source, my account, because I trusted them. A button labeled Freeze Account waited. One click would stop every payment. I hesitated. Instead, I opened a blank document and typed names: Carol from church, whose son ignored her after her cancer diagnosis; Louise, recently widowed; Francis, who raised grandkids, but wasn't invited to their graduations; Beverly, who told me no one had taken her picture on a beach. I saved the file, returned to the bank page, and pressed freeze. "Are you sure?" "Yes. All linked cards will be disabled immediately." "Yes." I closed the laptop and exhaled. Then I unwrapped the souvenir bags lying the keychains on the table, and for the first time in 3 years, imagined a different trip, one where I was welcome. My smile came from clarity, not revenge. Everything had started with a mason jar hidden behind the flower. I called it the dream jar. Each time I skipped a small purchase, vitamins, a movie, rental house, shoes, I tucked the cash inside. $5 here, 12 there, until the jar filled like quiet hope. For 3 years I saved. I canceled cable, painted on secondhand shoes, tutored late-night students while my joints throbbed, turned the heat down, and wore double socks. Every sacrifice fed that jar. The goal was more than a vacation. Hawaii was the place James and I honeymooned at 24, broke and giddy, sharing one suitcase, splitting sandwiches, him wearing a bedsheet like a cape after a brutal sunburn. We laughed more that week than ever again. After he died, I promised myself I would take the family there so the grandkids could see what he saw and maybe remind Nathan of the love that raised him. I planned tirelessly a villa for 9 calls about diets and wheelchair access t-shirts that read, "Family is Forever 2023. A fire pit where we would each share a word for James. I pictured tears, then laughter, but mostly gratitude. Yet gradually, I vanished from their photos. At Thanksgiving, Tanya announced just the kids, and then our family unit, leaving no time for a picture with me. At Christmas, they wore matching red sweaters I knew nothing about. Nathan brushed off my hurt. "You're not into that stuff, Mom." Holidays shifted to Tanya's mother's house, where I felt like a guest. Tanya once introduced me as Nathan's mom, as though I had wandered in. Still, I clung to the Hawaiian dream, certain waves and sunlight would heal us. That hope dissolved with one text. Suddenly, every skipped tea-cold night and tutoring session felt foolish. I hadn't built a bridge. I'd built a pedestal they never meant to visit. They wanted my money, not my memories. That night, I unpacked my bag, set the lavender candle beside James's photo, and asked a question no mother should face. When did I become a burden to the family I built? I woke early, unable to sleep, his words echoing, "You've already done your part by paying." I drifted through the house, folding the same blanket twice, straightening already straight frames, wiping an immaculate counter. Silence weighed on me. Later, an email from the travel agent arrived, itineraries finalized. I clicked, heart thudding. 8 names, Nathan, Tanya, their 2 kids, Tanya's parents, Tanya's sister, the sister's boyfriend. No mom. I zoomed in, hoping for guest 9. Nothing. I shut the laptop gently, as if haste could break it. That evening, Tanya called, not Nathan. Her voice was syrupy. "We're finishing packing. The final payment hits tomorrow, right? Is there anything you need me to bring? Games for the kids? Motion sickness bands for Olivia Marilyn? We've got it handled. You don't need to worry. Actually, we think it might be best if you stay home and rest, focus on you." Polite, decisive, excluding. After the call, I stood by the bird bath James installed 20 years ago. Water lay still as glass. I opened the fireproof box account holder, Marilyn Rose Monroe. No authorized users. All bookings charged to me. That night, with peppermint tea, I accepted the truth. They hadn't forgotten. They had omitted me, expecting I would stay silent. They forgot who raised them. I slept soundly and woke resolved. On my calendar, their flight departed LAX at 10:45 a.m. Arriving 2 hours early meant an 8:15 a.m. freeze would greet them. Before sealing their fate, I sent Nathan one last message. "Let me know if I can help with the kids' bags or snacks. I have extra motion sickness bands for Olivia." Read no reply. Entitlement confirmed. I toggled freeze. No alerts would warn them. They would discover the way I had discovered my exclusion, quietly and definitively. I leaned back, sipped tea, and breathed. This was reality, not revenge. For 2 days, I remained silent. Tanya posted photos of matching beach hats. Nathan announced in the family chat, ready for takeoff. I saved my youngest granddaughter's voice note about sea turtles, pressed it to my heart, and whispered, "I'm sorry, baby." Then I opened a new spreadsheet, titled, "Those Who Deserve to Be Seen." Carol, Beverly, Louise, Frances, Nora, Denise. Women overlooked and overused. I began planning their trip. If I controlled the checkbook, I would decide who was worth the journey. I slept with the window open. The wind whispered, secret flights rely on more than fuel. They rely on trust, and mine was no longer theirs. Departure morning arrived without fanfare for me. though Tanya's social media feed told a different tale. At dawn, she posted a photo taken in the rideshare van, the children grinning Nathan, flashing a peace sign, everyone in matching straw hats. Her caption read, "Off to paradise family," only a phrase that sliced deeper than any argument. I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of coffee in a chipped mug Nathan once served me breakfast in when he was 9. I did not like what I felt, but I refused to look away. Frame by frame, their story unfolded, the curbside drop-off the line at check-in selfies by the gate. 8 smiles. No seat for me. The clock on the wall showed 8:17 a.m., right on schedule. My phone vibrated. Nathan Hay getting a weird error at the counter. "Can you check the travel account?" I set the phone down. 5 minutes passed, and then another text. "Nathan, they say the card declined. You see anything on your end?" Silence from my end. The calls began once every 10 minutes, then every 5, then back-to-back voicemails. "Mom, it's me. Please call. The rental won't confirm. They say funds unavailable. Can you look?" The kids are upset. Just tell me if something happened. I kept the device face down. At 8:27 a.m., I pictured them repeating the swipe, Tanya's voice rising, her parents whispering sharp questions, Nathan sweating as the plastic failed again and again. Another voicemail came softer, urgent. "Mom, I don't know what you did, but if this is about the text, can we talk?" No acknowledgement of exclusion, no apology, only panic. The resort emailed next, not to them, but to me. Subject: booking cancellation request confirmed. Dear Ms. Monroe, we have processed the cancellation of your villa due to a freeze on the funding account. Charges have been reversed in full. We hope to welcome you in the future. I read the message twice, then allowed myself a small breath of release. They would not be welcomed there, not now, maybe not ever. At 10:40 a.m., Nathan tried again. "We're boarding. Call me, please." I did not call. They took off without a place to land, proof that money travels only as far as trust can carry it. By noon, my phone showed more than 50 missed calls from Nathan, from Tanya, even from her mother. I ignored the new voicemails and went for a walk instead. The air was warm. Birds chattered in the hedges. A neighbor, watering his roses, asked if I had plans for spring break. I smiled. Not yet, but soon. When I returned, the ringing had stopped. One new text awaited. "Look, maybe we messed up. The kids are confused and we're trying not to upset them. Could you unlock the account? We can talk after the trip." They wanted paradise first, accountability later. I left the request unanswered. Silence sometimes speaks louder than anger. 2 days later, my balance showed a string of refunds, villa rental car, airline taxes, tour packages, private chef deposit, luau tickets, snorkeling excursion. My once drained travel fund brimmed again, but now the money felt different. It was no longer hope pinned on people who saw me as a wallet. It was possibility waiting for those who understood value without a price tag. I opened the notebook where I had started the list, those who deserved to be seen. I added details beside each name. Carol, widowed, has not left the state in 20 years. Frances still wears her wedding ring, though her husband left 3 decades ago. Beverly, caretaker for her brother, sleeps on a cot beside his hospital bed. Nora, retired nurse, said, "The worst part of aging is invisibility." Lucille, former librarian, has never once stood barefoot on a beach. Dory, who drove me to a clinic when I sprained my ankle and refused gas money. I dialed each number, voice steady but heart thumping. "Would you like to spend a week in Hawaii? Everything is covered." No catch. The responses came in shocked pauses, then tears, then laughter that spilled through the receiver. Why me? Because someone should see you. Because you matter. I rebooked a different villa this time, in my own name alone. 6 women, 7 nights, a broad table where we could all sit shoulder to shoulder. I requested separate beds, gentle ramps instead of stairs, and a sunset sail with no extra charge for quiet joy. The travel agent, hearing the change in my voice, offered an upgrade at no additional cost. Kindness recognizes its own. Next, I retrieved the photo of James I had planned to place at the family table. I had it enlarged and set in a walnut frame, the type of wood that grows deeper with time. I wrapped it in layers of bubble until it felt protected, then slipped it into my suitcase beside a lavender candle, the last one of the set. Reservations finished, I emailed the women a simple itinerary, flight numbers, villa address, a note that read, "Pack comfortable shoes for walking along the shore at night." The day their tickets arrived, an email popped into my inbox from Nathan. Subject: just want to clear the air. Hi, Mom, we're back now. The trip was, well, a lot went wrong. Maybe things could have been communicated better. Tanya says hi. She was stressed and didn't mean to exclude you. We're in a bit of a bind. Rebooking cost more than expected, so could you return the deposit we gave for the trip, or even part of it? We're still family. Let me know. I read the line twice, could you return the deposit we gave? They had contributed nothing but assumption, yet now requested reimbursement. I opened the sent payments folder. Every charge bore my signature, every amount drew from sacrifice they never saw. They wanted cash, not reconciliation. An apology hinged to a price tag is no apology at all. The reply button waited, but I closed the email. Certain questions do not deserve answers. Betrayal does not come with a refund policy. Instead, I turned to the stack of new boarding passes, 6 names shining like sunrise. I pictured their faces when we stepped onto warm sand, when the sea air touched skin that had gone unnoticed for too long. I envisioned laughter unburdened by expectations. I felt lighter than I had in years. Packing was easy. 2 sundresses, the framed photo, 1 lavender candle, and a heart no longer begging to be seen. Thank you for listening to today's stories. Part 2 will be updated soon. If you enjoyed listening, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, leave a comment below to share your thoughts on what happened. Take care.